Yo, check this out. I found this really interesting. I mean, if you're looking at the screen, you can see the title, whatever the case may be. And I'm going to go into this because this is very important. And I want to elaborate on this whole DKoldies. Did they scam somebody or whatever the case may be? And I'm just going to go into it. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions. Usually on Sundays, I watch football and I will have the Reddit thread up. And usually I just look at Reddit, game collecting, who bought what, if anything for sale or whatever the case may be. And I came across this with the Flying Squadron. And he says right here, last week I ordered a copy of Pocky and Rocky 2 from DKoldies. And this is what he got. Now you see this, it looks like a regular DKoldies. Oh, I'm sorry, a regular Pocky and Rocky game. But when you click it, it comes out as Populous. Now, if you know anything about Populous, the Super Nintendo game, it's not a popular game. It's actually a pretty cheap game. Whereas Pocky and Rocky 2 is very expensive. Now, I got a lot of ways I can go with this. Now, did DKOD scam someone out of Pocky Rocky 2? Did they not do their due diligence and check the game when they got it from someone? Which is pretty much the same thing as, scamming or whatever the case may be. Or is this somebody just making it up? Now, in my opinion, this could go so many ways, and this is something that we need to really think about in the retro gaming community. It's one of the reasons why I don't really buy things online, let alone DKoldies. But I'm gonna give you my thoughts. Now, a part of me feels that DKoldies, probably did this. I would not be surprised. They have a really bad reputation of doing things, especially when it comes to the quality of games, whether it be cleaning or destroying certain games or destroying certain handhelds and consoles. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find here on YouTube where they destroyed a very expensive or very rare Game Boy or something like that. I can't remember. I think it was something like that. But they're known to do some really shady stuff. And I haven't purchased anything from them at all. I would never do that. But nevertheless, this is one of the reasons why people may think they got scammed. And because they do stuff like this. Now, I mean, this is a very expensive game, Pocky and Rocky 2. I bought this game a while back. I have it right here. Purchased the game for about, I'll put it like this. The game was worth $200 when I got the game. I got it for cheaper than that. I just got a deal from, an older couple that was giving away games. I got the first one as well. Got a really good deal on it. But nevertheless, this game on DKoldies was up to $415, which is absolutely insane, in my opinion, to really purchase a NES, a Super Nintendo cartridge, but teach his own. I'm not immune to that. I bought a Sega Genesis game for about that price at one time. So, yeah. Nevertheless, they purchased this in hopes of having the actual authentic cartridge, and they end up getting Populous. Now, how does this happen? Now, they probably switched circuit boards, or whatever the case may be, or the person who sent in the DKoldies switched the circuit board. And like I said, quality control is not DKoldies' thing. They rarely clean their product, let alone going inside of the circuit board or to see if it's right, or even putting the game in the Super Nintendo to see if that's the actual game. So, like I said, I wouldn't put it past them. But this does bring out a bigger issue. Like, what happens if a person does switch out, games and sell them to someone else? What if this person did switch out the circuit board and send it to the DKoldies? What if somebody on eBay or Etsy or whatever the case may be is doing this type of stuff, and you buy a game and it turns out to be not that game? Yes, it's a possibility that you could get a refund for some of this stuff, but who wants to go through that hassle with that big of a price tag and that much money being exchanged on the line? Why would you want to go through that? See, for me, I'm one of the type of people that really want to go at the reputable source if I want to buy something. There's a few of them out there who are absolutely phenomenal. Or, in other words, I am a big proponent of a brick and mortar retro stores. I love them. I went to one last week and had a blast. And my son loves to go to them. So I highly recommend, if you can go to one of these places, to buy your games, do so, please. You don't want to end up in a situation like this. So the bigger issue to me is not just DKoldies. It's just this is just another reason why you really need to vet who you buy things from, because I don't think DKoldies is reputable. First of all, even with the regular stuff that's not necessarily rare, the prices on their stuff is extremely high. I mean, you can probably get a PS2 and a game from them for almost $250, where you can get a PS2, probably for $60, $70 if you look in the right place. So it's really you really have to do your due diligence. You really have to be in a position to where you know who you're buying things from, and when you buy them, make sure they're in tip top shape. This is why I said, if you are going to a place if you're going to a place to buy something, do it. Go to a brick and mortar store that sells them, even if they're out of town, whatever the case may be. There's some places in Alabama. I live in Georgia. There's some places down in Alabama that I am willing to drive to go to these places to buy a game if I feel like it's worth it. First of all, it's a pretty good trip for everybody. Me and my family, we can go and do something. We can eat something that's not necessarily in the area, something unique. We can travel and do certain things. So you can turn it into an all-day trip if you're smart. And you just know, if you go to a place that you may not know much about, but even if you go there and you feel that it's a little shady, tell them to open the cartridge up. Tell them to show you that that's the game. Even though if they open the cartridge up, there may be a circuit board in there that's a repro circuit board. Now, if you want to buy the game in that condition, that's totally up to you. I mean, if you're getting the game, I'm not a big proponent of it, but to each his own. At least you're in somewhat getting what you're asking for if you want the actual game. But nevertheless, it should be a cheaper price, but that's another story for another day. Like I said, you have to know what you're doing when you do this type of stuff, especially when you're online. eBay has a reputation, a place where you can rate the places that you're going to, and just look at the ratings. Look at the ratings. Look at the reputation of some of these places, because some of these places may have a pretty good reputation. Maybe you've dealt with them before, and you know people who've dealt with them, and it'll make it a much smoother experience instead of dealing with something like this. Because like I said, to me, I don't think DKoldies necessarily swap the circuit board out for Populous and actually sold it. I think somebody sent that to them in that condition and they didn't do their due diligence. That is my whole thing about that. But for me, I'm going to put the link to this Reddit thread down in the description, because you can see some of the comments or some of the responses, and most of them are like, hey, you bought from DKoldies, what do you expect? And I kind of feel the same way. Like, there's no way I would buy something from them, even if it's cheap and if it's deemed worth it by buying stuff online standards. I would rather go to a store where I know that it's a little bit more reputable and buy that same product. There's no way I would buy something from them. And it's really unfortunate. This guy is probably out of $400, $400 plus, $415, because he wanted a game that's actually pretty damn good. I mean, like I said, I love this game. This game is absolutely great, and I highly recommend you play it if you haven't already. I think you can get the game on. Hey, you can get the game on PS4 right now. I think they have the remastered or something. I think they have 1 and 2. I don't know. I don't have the PS4 version. I'll probably try to get it. I said I was gonna get it a while back. I never did, but Pocky and Rocky 2 is a very good game. The first one's good. Is it worth $400? Yeah, to each his own. I mean, I bought mine when it was early, and even then, I paid over $100 for it. So you have to be mindful of who you're buying from, what you're buying from, and what quality and condition certain things are in, because this is really unfortunate. I don't have much else to say. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Hopefully you guys learned a lesson here. If you want to read the comments, it'll give you more insight. The link is down in the description. And be careful with DKoldies. Be careful with any online, any online purchases in general, especially with stuff like this. This is not the only place where you can get scammed at, but it's really interesting, you know. But DKoldies is back in the limelight for the wrong reasons. All right, y'all. I'm out. Y'all have a good night. Peace.